What's good, you guys? You know who it is, man. It's your boy, Mr. Relentless Lex, and I'm back like I never left this mother. Yes, Sirski. Hello, somebody. All right, so, man, we got the Braxtons back feuding once again, bro. It says Tracy Braxton's son reveals why she didn't want, well, it should have been why he didn't want sisters in charge of the estate. His mom left him over everything. Bro, this is crazy. Them Braxton sisters is hell, bro. Spicy.
Y'all, if y'all thought we were done with the drama involving the Braxtons, honey, it's just getting started. Allegedly, Tracy Braxton left her son Kevin Jr. in charge of everything because she didn't want her sisters anywhere near her estate because of how greedy they are. And she wasn't wrong, because aren't they now just capitalizing on her death unapologetically and at the expense of Tracy's son? Baby, there's a lot of drama going on with the Braxtons, and I hope you are all seated. Okay, so there's a will that Tracy left before she passed, and in the will, Tracy gave instructions for her funeral, and she made her son Kevin Surratt Jr. her personal representative. This means he was put in charge of paying Tracy's funeral expenses and any debts incurred from her illness. In the documents, Tracy also requested one viewing and to be cremated, and she didn't want her organizations Zeta Phi Beta Sorority Incorporated and Order of the Eastern Stars to make appearances. These documents—
Wow, now that's serious right there. She didn't want her sorority sisters there. She didn't want her Eastern Star sisters there. Man, they must be really pissed her off before she passed, man. R.I.P. to Tracy, but dang, bro. That's just crazy, bro. Your Eastern Star sisters and your Zeta Phi Beta sisters? Dang.
Also said that Kevin Sr. and Kevin Jr. were listed in charge of deciding what Tracy wore for the viewing and the guest list. The will also confirms that Kevin Jr. was the executor, and when he is ready, he will also take over the management of Tracy's brand and likeness. Kevin Sr. was left with certain bank accounts, a diamond ring, and the remains of Tracy's niece, Lauren Braxton. Real estate properties and the remainder of the estate were also divided and given to Kevin Sr. and Kevin Jr. So the husband also got something, but the majority of the things were left to Kevin Jr. Honey, when this will started making rounds, people were saying that Tracy changed her will and put her son in charge instead of her husband because she realized that Big Kev gave her HPV due to his cheating, which was probably the reason for her throat cancer. So they think Tracy knew exactly what she was doing when she left almost everything to her son. Okay, but what about the sisters? Why didn't she leave them in charge of anything? Allegedly, the reason why Tracy never left the sisters in charge is because they always treated her so badly. And people are saying that they now see how the sisters are carrying a lot of guilt from how they treated Tracy. In fact, people are saying that when the Braxtons premiered, it was like the other sisters were getting to know Tracy along with us. And people are pointing out to instances where the family treated Tracy like trash, like that time when the sisters visited Tracy and all they did was nitpick and complain about the food she made for them. Basically, a lot of people are of the opinion that Tracy was the outcast and was treated as such. And to be honest, she really didn't have much reason to leave her sisters in charge of anything. You know, maybe this is why Tracy's son Kevin Jr. did not fit in when they went back on television. And for anyone who has been keeping up, y'all know that he has been a mess from the beginning. For starters, in the first episode, he shared that other than navigating the loss of his mom, he was getting a divorce from his wife, Olivia Harron, after a few years of marriage, and everything was just heavy on him. Then in a different scene from the Braxtons premiere, Trina also briefly spoke to her husband, Vaughn Scales, about the status of Big Kev and Little Kev's relationship, and she said they don't talk as often as she would think during their time of grief. In the same episode, there was also some kind of distraction when the sisters were talking to Kevin when he was at home, and Tamar was speculating that he was talking with the police. Then when Tawanda went back to the couch after calling him, she told them someone called the police, letting them know Kevin has a warrant for his arrest, and she feels someone close to Kevin called and set him up. Once again, in episode 7 of the show, Kevin said that the divorce from Olivia was the hardest challenge he had faced all year, mostly because he was completely blindsided. He said that he actually tried his best to fight for his family, but Olivia said he didn't fight hard enough. Now, after filming a session with the grief counselor, Kevin apparently took a lunch break, but when the production team went back to check on him, he was found unresponsive on the floor. The production team even wrote about the incident, saying, after Kevin's grief counseling session, he took a break for lunch with the TV production team. Production hadn't heard from Kevin in a while. When they went to check on him, they found him unresponsive on the ground. The team then added that once Kevin regained consciousness, they immediately looked for Tawanda, who went to check on him. They said that Tawanda arrived in her car and asked the Braxtons' showrunner, OG, about Kevin's location, and Then OG told her that Kevin was in stable condition with them. The showrunner said that Kevin Jr. had a seizure and was all over the place and said that Tawanda should check on him. OG further told Tawanda that they didn't know if Kevin would be okay and asked for his medicine, thinking it would help improve his condition. Tawanda then shared that Kevin's wife, Olivia Harron, was the one who informed her about Kevin's seizure, which he apparently started getting after his mom died. Now, to make matters worse, there was footage that was also making rounds involving the late Tracy Braxton's husband, Kevin Sr., and their son, Kevin Jr. And from the looks of it, Kevin Jr. was getting a proper whooping from his dad. There's no context of whatever was going on with them, but what you can hear is Kevin Jr. saying several times, "You told me no." Then Kevin Sr. calls him a liar and blames him for Tracy's cancer.
No. You told me no. You told me no. You told me no. You told me no. When I asked you if Lincoln live in our house, you know what? At the condo, you said no though. But you said no. You told me no. You told me no. I'm not lying. I have no reason to lie to you.
Wow.
Pull your mother. There you go.
Wow, bro, that's crazy.
Let's do it. Let's do it. Let's do it.
They about to fight?
You call your mother cancer. You call my wife cancer.
Basically, this also
Man, that goes to show you right there, man. It don't matter how things look from the outside looking in or how much money somebody got. Life is always be life, and you never know what somebody's going through, right? The Braxton family, they go through more things than the average family who don't really have as much as they have, bro. They fight amongst each other so much. That is crazy.
also highlighted the problems Kevin Jr. has been having with his dad. And many people speculated that Senior is having all these issues because Tracy left their son in charge of her estate. Speaking of Kevin Sr., remember not so long ago, Tracy's husband was also out here also exposing the family for disrespecting him and capitalizing on Tracy's death.
How close was the Braxtons with Junior before Tracy got sick?
%20.
20%?
Okay.
I mean, he had already claimed that after Tracy passed, the sisters of his late wife were treating him like a bad husband for planning a funeral service because they said it was against her wishes. Kevin and Tracy's manager orchestrated a funeral with a viewing and Zoom links, and according to the family, that was against Tracy's wishes. They insisted that Tracy did not want a funeral or wake and specifically requested to be immediately cremated upon her death. Regardless, Kevin went ahead with the funeral, and although none of Tracy's sisters nor the mother showed up, her father attended the funeral but was reportedly initially denied access for not being on the list. An insider even said about the situation, he was so upset that he wasn't on the list. Someone from the church recognized him and let him in, and he had to sit in the fourth row. Braxton's father wasn't even allowed to speak or say any words about his daughter. Well, Senior also said that Tracy's father was not denied access, and he also said that the sisters and the mom were invited but decided not to go. He also said Tracy's father and brother briefly attended the funeral and weren't pushed away from celebrating Tracy's life. Kevin also slammed the sisters for making him out to be a dead husband in the media and claimed Tracy wanted a viewing and one memorial service in conjunction with her management, PR, and other members to come together and celebrate her. He said, quote, "I was with my wife more than anybody in this world. I know my wife, and when she got cancer, we really started to communicate about funeral plans, and I was still trying to find treatments for her. I went to every single one of her doctor appointments throughout our entire marriage. That's how we were. And now they're treating me like a deadbeat husband." Before this, the sisters had already made it clear that they had issues with the one person who stuck by Tracy to the very end and even disrespected him publicly. There was even an episode on their show where Tracy called Tawanda a snake, and she felt like Tawanda's boo was out of line for trying to get the sisters to hash out their issues in Napa Valley. At the time, comments were also made about Kevin Surratt, and Tamar slammed Kevin about his criminal record while he tried to speak up for Tracy. Then while watching the episode, Tawanda reacted to Tracy saying Sean is always in the sisters' business and responded to a fan asking why Tracy went off on Sean at Trina Braxton's wedding with, "Cause she mad because unlike her, I have a real man." Okay, I get that Senior was already having issues with the family, but it was still a bit weird that the family was navigating the grief without involving Kevin, yet he was Tracy's husband. There were actually people on social media saying that it was disrespectful for the family to have conversations about Tracy without including her husband. And when people started questioning what was going on, Senior did an Instagram live after the show premiered, and while he did not specifically specifically say that there was something bad going on between him and the Braxtons. He suggested that they were having problems. He talked about how it took a whole village to navigate the grief with Kevin Jr. and how he had other people who were helping him through the process. In addition, Kevin Sr. did another interview, and he went into more details about his relationship with the Braxtons, saying that they didn't like him from the beginning. And he said that it was the sisters that put the pressure on Tracy to end her pregnancy and leave the group. He also mentioned that Kevin Jr. is struggling with alcohol and having a hard time with his mother not being here anymore.
Absolutely saw the episode. So this is the illegitimate child situation. So I told you earlier, I have a daughter. And so at that time, remember I told you earlier also, I used to work a lot. So when Tracy and them started doing the show, I eased up on work, and then I was home more, and I was taking care of, you know, like my home. So my grandson used to spend a lot of time with me. My grandson is Zaire from my daughter. So Zaire used to come over the house, and my favorite spot, Sherelle, is Starbucks. So me and him would go to Starbucks, and we would partake in my venti chai, and, you know, we had fun. But he was hyper, so he was all over the place. So this girl saw me at Starbucks, and she put it on Twitter. I'm in the Starbucks with a child. And, you know, I guess the rumor went from there. So my sister-in-law, Tawanda, had got with Tracy's management team, which the assistant manager, they came up with this thing that I had an illegitimate child, and they put it on the show. But the child was my grandson, Zaire.
Wow.
And so the funny part is, like,
well, how come if you married to one of the Braxton sisters, like, how did I not know that you had a grandson? It seemed like everybody should have known that. You married into the family, though. So is the child really like your grandson or what? That's crazy right there, bro. The Braxtons, bro, y'all got to get it together, man. Y'all got some mess going on.
I was telling Trey, I said, Trey, you know, that's how we ended up going on marriage boot camp. I said, so if you look at it, it looked one way, but it turned into something else because we was able to go on marriage boot camp and work out some of our issues. So it really elevated our marriage. So thank you. Is what I said to that situation.
Child, on one hand, it looks like Kevin Sr. is the villain in this story. But on the other hand, people are also saying that the sisters turned all of their guilt for how they treated Tracy into anger aimed at Sr. And now they are turning others on Sr. by publicizing the struggles between Jr. and Sr. Yet Sr. was not allowed to be on the show to state his perspective. Others are also saying that other than capitalizing on Tracy's death, the sisters are using Kevin Jr. for money. I mean, they didn't include him in the family functions when Tracy was alive, but now they want him to be all over? Baby, Tracy possibly saw through all this BS with her sisters, and that's why she didn't leave them in charge of anything. But what do you think of these fights they are having with Kevin Sr.? Are they all just trying to milk Tracy's death? Do you also think that they are using Kevin Jr.? Why do you think Tracy never left any of them in charge? Drop those thoughts in the comments.
Man, that's why. Because Tracy, R.I.P. to Tracy Braxton, but man, she know how her sisters is, bro. To leave everything to your son to do, and nothing towards your sisters. She left her husband a little bit or something, but she left her son in charge of everything. None of the sisters got nothing, bro. Got nothing. So I'm feeling like she felt a certain way before her demise, you know, and that is crazy. To have your own flesh and blood sister to feel that way about the rest of y'all, and it's what, 5 or 6 of y'all maybe, and that's crazy. So the son, he's been dealing with a divorce, his mom passing, and drinking himself to death, trying to cope with the pressure. On top of, you know, his mom's sisters is his auntie, so that's his family. And like Jay-Z said it in one of his songs, nobody wins when the family feuds, bro. Braxtons, y'all need to get it together, period.